So as a kid, I've always been fascinated by fast bikes. I used to play games like Excite Bike and Road Rash, which really captured me into the game, and I could feel the thrill and the excitement of riding a two-wheeler on the street at high speeds. Then in the year 2010, this happened. I fell in love with the Ducati Sport Classic. The bike introduced me to the world of cafe racers. Aggressive riding posture, swept out exhaust, and the sweet rumbling twin-cylinder engine. These were all the things that kind of captured my interest as a teenager. I started to appreciate retro bikes even more. I discovered bikes like the Triumph Bonnevilles, Honda CB750s, and the Norton Commandos. Now I decided once I was out of college, I would really like to have a retro bike. But as a student who's fresh out of college and a light wallet, this was only going to be a pipe dream. So I turned my head around to the Indian market. But out of all the options that were available, just one company stood out which could scratch my itch of owning a retro-inspired bike, and that was Royal Enfield. Now you see, my problem with Royal Enfield bikes was that I always saw them as slow, obnoxious, rattly and loud bikes. And also coupled with the fact that most of the Royal Enfields I've seen on the street are not properly maintained by the owner, I was never really attracted to them. So for a company that always made geriatric bikes, which could never appeal to someone like me, what really changed that even now I own one? So we all know how Royal Enfield started 100 years ago, struggled financially after World War II, got saved by an Indian company and thrived within the Indian market for decades, and it still does. But it never really appealed to the ever-growing younger population of the country, where the average 18-year-old would rather ask his dad for a Ninja 250 instead of a Bullet. You see, growing up, this kid was obviously influenced by games like Road Rash and also movies like Speed, Doom and Fast and Furious. But the thing is, Royal Enfields were never considered to be fast or furious. Then in 2012, we finally got to see a glimmer of hope from the company in the form of the Continental GT 535, which was radically different from every bike in this stable. A true cafe racer with quality performance parts, and a very fast looking motorcycle indeed with an unfiltered spirit of the 60s. The bike did okayish in terms of sales as the Indian market wasn't quite ready for it yet, but I was quite hopeful. Then in 2018, Royal Enfield finally released the Interceptor and the GT650. The engines ran smooth and vibration free, and every auto journalist in the world couldn't believe that it was Royal Enfield.
Hey, is this a Royal Enfield?
So in short, Royal Enfield basically went from this to this. Now coming back to my point of falling in love with the Ducati Sport Classic and getting a bike like that, the Interceptor and the GT650 ticked all the boxes for me. Swept up dual exhaust with a rumbling engine from a twin-cylinder motor, and also classic-looking elements such as a round headlamp, a teardrop-shaped tank, and also the spoked aluminum rims. And in a sharp contrast to the image of slow, clunky, and rattly, the new 650s were rather uncharacteristic of the brand. Some people have even confused the new Interceptor to be a Triumph Bonneville. Now, faster speeds and classic design are all good things, but what really attracted most of the people towards it, and also me, was the price. When it launched, it was just 2.5 lakhs. Now, put it into perspective, the only other 650cc bike in the market at the time was at least twice the price of the new Royal Enfield 650s. Which means people who had been saving money for a bigger bike can now use the spare cash to upgrade and mod their bikes as they see fit. The world loved that, and I did too. Now that I have the Interceptor 650 with me, you might be wondering, what do I think about it? Well, you can watch the next video for that, and thank you for watching.